we greeted each other like we knew it was special. I remember the days like it.
Hello and welcome to the Eighth Note Sessions. I'm Mike Shamil.
And I'm Devin Mullen.
And our guest today is Domjbrown, a rapper who has crossed back and forth between Buffalo and Rochester more times than he could probably count, and his music is just taking off in the Queen City. Dom, welcome to the show. How are you doing today?
How you doing? How you doing, Devin? How you doing, Mike?
Doing all right. Thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me, for sure.
Now, some of you folks may have already seen his music video, Rockin' with the Bills, as it got, what, like 42,000 plus views? I mean, that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, it was surprising to get, that's the most views I have, for sure. For sure.
And for an artist like in this region, like getting above like 2,000 views seems to be like a painstaking process. I've seen bands put in lots of time and money and just squeak that far after a couple years, and yours just like took off. Why do you think that is?
Listen, I'm a very honest guy, so I'm gonna say I'll give Josh Allen a little credit. The Bills doing good is the reason, for sure. It was my third Bills anthem, Rockin' with the Bills. I did Buffalo Bills anthem, then I did Buffalo It's the Mafia. And those got a lot of views as well, but nothing as near as Rockin' with the Bills. It's the first visual that I have. So it's the only music video I have. So I think it helped a lot that there was a music video and that we were going to the AFC Championship, because that's when I released it the week before.
So it was good timing plus good planning. And I love how in the video, like, your outfit like just changes for a moment to like some vintage Bills swag. I was like, all right, like that's like the Bills swag that I remember like when growing up, and I'm like, this guy knows what it's all about.
Yeah, I did that because the last time we went to the AFC Championship was '95. So when my idea with the video was kind of wanted to do a hot tub time machine thing, but the times constraint was like it was only a couple of days before the game. So I did it in my own way and went to my cousin Vintage on Elmwood, and they let me get some vintage gear. So I had some current gear and then did two different scenes, and I was like, oh, so Jim Kelly's our quarterback? Because that's what 1995. Yeah, it was cool.
That's awesome. So now that you've gotten that project under your belt and you've figured out something that works, where are you going to take that knowledge next? What kind of project do you have sort of envisioned for the future?
So I love doing my Bills anthems. I love the views they get. I love the notoriety I get from it. But I'm hoping that those songs lead people to my non-Bills music, and it has for sure. And but I don't want to stop making Bills songs. I want to keep making them just because people have loved them, and I make them for the fans. And like, I want people to know that I make these songs are for the fans. I'm not trying to get notoriety from the team or anything. Those are strictly tailgate, jumping through tables music.
Yeah.
For sure. So there'll be new Bills music coming out and other music behind it, for sure.
Awesome.
I mean, for me, I'm not a big follower of athletics, but I pop that on and I'm like, oh yeah, this is a banger. This is a good one.
Thank you.
But the music goes so much further than that. What I love about your art form and your way of expressing yourself is that you proudly wear the title of no genre, which is not so common for a lot of musicians, because it's all about finding your particular niche. I was wondering if you could speak to that at all.
Yes. So like you said, a lot of musicians, they like to shy away from that, and I like to embrace versatility. So I grew up listening, ranging from 3 Doors Down to 50 Cent. So like my music, you can get, I have like a song or two where, you get a 3 Doors Down vibe, and then I got some 50 Cent type party in the club type music, for sure. And I do, like, growing up, my parents just listened to so much different music. It was a lot of R&B, but my dad DJ'd, so I heard every type of genre. And anytime any instrumental came on, even if a song came on radio, my dad was always making his own song on top of the song. So no matter what the song was. So I think that's what got me started. So if it was some Three Doors Down on, like if some Kryptonite was playing, like I had my own version back in the day for sure.
That's cool.
So, embodying that as a creative impulse is to, like you said, embrace versatility and to be incredibly open-ended. It's a challenging time to be artistic and serve the role of social commentator or extra public therapist or, whatever the moment calls for. Where are you finding in these past few years that the music is coming from? What sorts of things are you speaking on?
So the past few years, I would say, the last couple years, I would say I would get to the last couple of years because we were in a pandemic, and that's when I started releasing music more than I had before. At that time, there was a lot of sitting in the house, so I was listening to a lot of local musicians, and then so it made me hungrier. That's what I'll say. So like during the pandemic, it's a lot of music about, it's a few freestyle songs where there's no hooks. So I made a few freestyles where I wanted to show my rapping ability, show my wordplay skills. A few other songs were from situations. I went out of town. I got a song called Late Night Swim. So I basically talking about when I went to Ocean City.
Nice.
Yeah, so my girlfriend took me to Ocean City, so it inspired me to make a song. I made making songs about, lyrics about going back to school because I went back to school during the pandemic. So a lot of what was going on at the time, me comparing myself to other artists, me being in school, me being a dad. That is my music in the past 2 years is really focused on.
So there's a lot that's kind of like everyday slice of life thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like you're growing up, you're working on yourself, you're making a family and all that. But there, of course, is a heavier sort of thing lurking in the environment and all around.
Yes.
I wonder if you could speak about that as well.
So, with in regards to music,
yeah, music.
So right now, like in this moment, with the tragedy that happened Saturday at Tops, it has put me in a different realm musically. I wasn't already creating my album, my next album. I've been working on that. So the songs in the past 2 days that I've been writing have been more, deeper in my feelings. A bunch of why music, honestly. A bunch of like, why is this happening? Trying to get people to think. I made a song where it's a lot of like rhetorical questions, basically. Like they're not meant to be answered, but they're meant to be thought about. And that's the type of stuff that right now I have been writing. Who knows if I'll put it on music and like on an instrumental, but as of right now, like I do plan on it. What's going on right now, it hurts inside. So like it's hard to write like that too, because you're not on the right mindset. Your mind is kind of foggy. And so my mind is kind of foggy right now. And I'm still trying to write because say if I don't like what I wrote, I will use some elements of it still. So that's why I continue to write about my feelings. So what I'm going through every day.
So for anyone who's not a local listener, the event that Dom is referring to occurred this past weekend. A domestic terrorist, white supremacist, went into a Tops grocery store and murdered 10 people in cold blood. I can understand kind of sitting with that and not having a sense of artistic clarity on it. Interesting to note, though, in our pre-interview conversation, you said that you weren't surprised that it happened.
Yes, I'm not surprised. and it's just the history of this country. That's why I'm not surprised. And, you know, there's a time where I would hesitate even saying something like that, which I shouldn't ever have. But like, it's getting to the point now where it's like, no, like this is what's been going on. Like this murderer, this terrorist, you know, they said he's acting on the great replacement theory. It just doesn't make a lot of sense to me. And I don't know, like when I think about stuff like that, I start to get a deeper thought, and it's like, you know, well, this country was like founded on replacement, like kind of like, yeah, you know, like they replaced Native American, like colonizer replacing Native Americans. So it's like this idea, it's really old. It's really what white supremacists always stood on, but it's getting mainstream attention now. It's what, you know, ever since, like, you know, people would always say, you know, in the South, they would say, oh, it's like a one drop rule. If you got one drop of black in you, you're black to society. And that means when people say that means that you are going to be treated differently. You are going to have a different goalpost. You know, some people might have a head start, but we're basically starting the negatives in a way.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, if it wasn't for the fact that was the only supermarket locally in that area, how would it have happened?
Right. You know, he specifically Googled where the highest population of African Americans stay, and it hit close to home because my daughter lives in that zip code. So it hurts because it's so close to home, and just hurts because of the reasoning. Hurts. It hurts to see that hate on Front Street, you know, like that. A lot of that hate is always subtle nowadays, you know, because I don't believe that, you know, I believe that majority of the world does not agree with you know, his theories and the stuff that he acted on. Like, that is not what the majority of the world thinks. But you would think that from the media lately. But like, I know, like, there is a small group of people who think like this, but they are dangerous because they are acting as terrorists. They are no different than Al Qaeda going through, you know, towers. Like they were on a suicide mission, basically, because most likely, you know, he knew there was a chance he could have died that day.
Yeah, I mean that's a whole other,
you know,
but that's another conversation. But for sure, like,
so, you know, living in a society which, by all assessment, is a kind of apartheid. Where we have two separate legal systems, two separate economies, two separate communities divided by, you know, infrastructure itself, the Kensington Expressway. This has to be even more challenging for you because you're also an educator. Now, outside of, you know, your job of educating, do you ever just get exhausted with having to educate people on your experience with things?
So it depends on the person that I'm educating. A lot of the time I find myself educating in anger after someone has made a comment that, you know, really hurt deep down, like a racist comment online under the news posts and stuff. I will get really mad. I try to educate, but it's always in anger. I do love having those conversations with friends that don't understand, that want to understand. Now, educating people that want to understand is fun because when someone's listening, like they want to listen. And, you know, in the bigger picture, it doesn't feel like anyone's listening. Like, doesn't feel like, you know, these problems are big enough for the world to tackle. You know, like that's how I feel.
I understand why artistically there's such, in this no genre thing, but a very consistent thing is a sort of like unrestrained, open, infectious joy. Even if that optimism is sort of under, covering up a little bit of like, well, I don't know if things are actually going to change, there's still a commitment to that. And that's incredible to see in an artist. So I just want to personally thank you for keeping that energy in the conversation and keeping it in the art scene, because that needs to be part of it.
I'm gonna always. That's what it's about for me. It's about being yourself. It's about being yourself, like not just yourself that society sees, yourself on Instagram, like being yourself, like behind closed doors too in the music, like that. Like I told you in the pre-interview, like I'm not 100% open to my music. I might be like 80, but I think the moment I feel like if I started seeing more income, I would definitely spill my life out. Like I don't want all my life on iTunes and Spotify, right? And then with two streams.
So, having a foot in, just to take a break from the just everything for a sec, having your foot in Buffalo and Rochester, what are some of the observable differences in the music scenes there?
Yeah, so I'm from Rochester, been in Buffalo since 2011. I can honestly say that the differences right now are just that Buffalo has a premier music like hip hop group right now, and Rochester doesn't. With Griselda and Buffalo, they work closely with it's a crew in Rochester called the Trust Gang, and the music is about same hardcore rap, kind of like the boom bap rap, and that's what gets the most attention like in Rochester, just like in Buffalo. So the music scenes are really similar. I feel like the music scene in Rochester, that feel like the promoters and the venues accepted more in Rochester. You get a lot more hip hop shows. Oh, yeah. A lot more venues willing to do hip hop shows in Rochester. And that's the difference I see, because I just have a lot of shows in Rochester. When I get to Buffalo, it's a different scene. It's, if people don't really recognize you, if you're not doing the music that the popular people are doing, people aren't really looking your way as much right now, which is okay, because I'm fine with making different music and knowing that this music's going to be up there forever. People are going to go back and say, well, we were missing this stuff at this time.
Right, playing the long game with that.
Yeah. I mean, I have to. I think the long game is the best way to attack the music game, especially because bringing back Buffalo and Rochester, a lot of the artists I see that, they put all their chips in the music. I feel like I can't do that. I have a 9-year-old daughter. I need to be working. So that's why I work at a middle school. I need to be working. So music is not like full time for me, which I wish, like, of course, if it was, like, it would be, I feel like I would definitely be bigger, but the sacrifice, I'm not willing to take the sacrifice of being down and broke when I have a kid.
I understand that.
Yeah, because that's, I mean, at that point, you have to really weigh such important things. And it makes a lot of sense. It's like
going to the casino, man, like, and just with $100 in your pocket and saying like, oh, I know I'm going to leave with something, but like, probably most likely, no, you're not. The percentage of anyone being a huge music star is small, and I know that, and that's why I'm at the point, like, if it happens, it happens. But I love music so much, I'm going to continue to do shows like forever, for sure. Forever.
That's a healthy mindset. You know, you're right. A lot of artists don't get big. I mean, you know, even getting to the point where you're a regular touring artist at the national level and making a sort of steadier income as a musician, they still aren't making a lot, and they put a ton of time into it. I mean, it's more hours than a full-time job whenever I talk to musicians that are at that level. You know, they express they're like, you know, I'm doing social media, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, you know, I'm recording and writing and traveling all in the same day, every day of the week.
On time constraints, too.
Yeah.
A lot of that stuff's on time constraints, not on your own time. So, yeah, I know it can get stressful. Like, I definitely understand that it can get crazy stressful.
And at the same time, I imagine that the thought of not doing any music at all just sounds awful.
I tried it. I was, so give you a little backstory. I was done with music and before I dropped Rocking with the Bills.
Wow.
I was done with it. And I seen that a few other people were doing Bills anthems that year after, and I was like, oh, I had to release another Bills anthem. Everyone was asking me, but I kept saying, no. I don't know if I'm, you know, pandemic really had me down, like a lot of, like early. And I'm like, no, I don't know. And then I did. And like, that was kind of like a reviving moment. Like people were like, oh my God, this is amazing. Like to this day, like I walk somewhere and they're like, oh, well, you make the Bills song. And it's like, yeah, that's me. It's me.
Oh, wonderful. Well, I think we're just about at time here. Dom, I want to thank you for coming on the show. You're doing a phenomenal job with your music, with your art. Keep doing it. We're rooting for you.
Appreciate you.
Shamil, the last question's yours.
Yeah. So in the song "A Clout in the City," you know, you talk about how you're not even in your home city anymore, and you're starting to really take off more. Mm-hmm. Do you? In that song, didn't that come out a couple years ago, if I'm correct?
Yeah, it came out last year, maybe last summer. Yeah.
Do you feel that as time has passed, do you feel that momentum that you were feeling at that time, has it started to increase? Do you feel like that momentum is just kind of like steaming forwards even faster now?
Yes. So I do think the momentum is steaming forward. I wouldn't say too fast, but I think it's at a pace where I think is perfect for me, because I don't find myself really stressed out over it right now. So I know it's moving at a good pace. I feel like when I wrote that song, I was definitely feeling myself.
It feels very confident when I listen to it.
Yeah, I was very like those singles I was dropping in 2021, like that I was at, my confidence level was up here because I felt like I was hearing music that really wasn't versatile, didn't have real song structure. I'm big on song structure. I'm big on songs having hook, verses, and bridges. I am a big firm believer of songs having like bridges and like, so like that type of stuff really gets me hyped with that. So with the Clout in the City, like the momentum is still going how it was when it's more than it was when I recorded that song. Because awesome. I did that song before I performed for Rick Ross. So I would say after that Rick Ross show, performing Bill's music there, like things have been like, people have been asking me, when are you dropping? When are you dropping? When are you dropping? And, you know, like every musician, soon.
Goes back to furiously editing away in Pro Tools.
Thinking in your head, you don't even know if you want to release this song. No, one more thing though, the problem. So what I think sets me apart from other artists is that my main goal is not to get in the music game to be the performer, the music artist. I want to be the writer. So I want to go and like, you know, like Kid Leroy has a song #1 on the charts. I want you to go look at the writing credits and be like, oh, Domjbrown helped him out with this song. Like that's the type of stuff that I want to do, because I know I'm good. I really believe that I'm good, but I'm honest too. And I know there's plenty of songs that I have that like I listen to and I'm like, oh, this person would sound so much better with this song. And like a lot of artists don't do things like that, you know? Like they want to be in the front center. And it's like sometimes you gotta take what you get. You can't have unrealistic expectations. Like everyone's not gonna be Drake or Wayne. And that's what everyone tries to be. And I think trying to be those people is not a good thing. Like trying to be yourself, trying to work at your own pace and understand that even what they succeeded in is unrealistic. And people don't see that. They see them and say, oh, like I can do that. I can do that. Like you can't. Like these people are elite. Like they have the most elite people around them. Like I do feel like if I have the same resources, that I could really be on that level. Like I know that's a very confident thing to say, but I feel like if I had the same resources as the artists on the billboards, like I could. Like I just need that one foot in.
Yeah.
That one.
Well, you won't know until you get there.
That's a wise take, because if you get to the point in your career as a musician that you're writing regularly and writing also for other people, and you get enough people performing your stuff, first off, your writing skills are going to really flourish, because all that time of you spending, hours writing away and working with other artists and getting their feedback, and you'll get to really fine-tune your craft. And that is one way that musicians can make a more stable income in this business, is being a prolific writer. And I've heard of friends in Nashville that some of them, that's their goal. They join all these writing circles, and then they work on their skills, and then they go and write for all these up and coming stars. And sure, you're not seeing their faces on the Billboard charts, but they're making a more like livable income, and their music is still getting out to more people than if they were just performing it themselves at the bar.
Less pressure. You don't have to keep an uptake on I don't need to keep a haircut to go write a music. Or might write a song.
Go outsource.
I can be scruffy. I don't need someone telling me, oh, you gotta wear this Balenciaga today. Like, no. I'm wearing my H&M, man. That's how I feel. I don't want that pressure. I want to be behind the scenes. It's just as big. It's just as big. Like I meet the same people without having the same stresses, without having tragedies at my concerts and stuff. Like leave that to the artists I'm writing for.
Every artist is like 1 to 10% of the actual brand and enterprise they put out. That you see at the national level. They got 90% of those people behind them. So, yeah, I agree.
Well, thank you very much, Dom, for coming on the show. You gave us a lot of really good insight today.
Thank you. I appreciate you for having me, for sure. I love this. I love speaking about my craft. I don't do it often. I am not the person going around telling people I make music. So people are always saying, oh my God, like what? I do it online. So if you don't follow me on social media, you probably don't know. So I love
post all that in the credits for you, so that the people who are watching today, can go and follow your music and check it out.
Yes. Where's the best place to follow you, though? Out of curiosity, just for my own sake.
Okay, so Instagram, Domfadedd. Facebook, my music page is Domjbrown. I'm not as active on there. Twitter, I think it's _Domfadedd_. I'm not as active on there either, but I'm gonna start being more active. And once I drop my album, that's the plan. I know I'm gonna start promoting heavy once I drop it. I'm not gonna do the rollout because when you're at a certain level, it's different. So I'm gonna release it. Whoever wants to listen to it. I'll promote it as it's out.
Excellent. I'll be sure to check you out there. And that's Domfadedd with 2 Ds on Instagram.
Domfadedd with 2 Ds. That is a fact. That is the truth.
Well, thank you so much, Dom. This has been the Eighth Note Sessions. I'm Mike Shamil.
And I'm Devin Mullen.
And our guest today was Domjbrown. Dom, thank you so much for being on the show today.
Thank you. All right, bye.
Here's a preview of the song Believe Me Tonight by Domjbrown. Check out his music on all the major streaming services.
I'll always remember the time you said you remember the time. me from your body. Can you receive me tonight? Knew from the start, could see you dressed in all white.
The Eighth Note sessions are produced by Music is Art. Our co-hosts are Devin Mullen and Michael Shamil. Editing by Michael Shamil. The executive director is Tracy Fletcher. Our program director is Sarah Elizabeth Shaw. You can help programs like this keep going by donating today at musicisart.org. Thanks for listening.